Primitive Life, a novel by Louise Richardson. Chapter 9, Homeward, Part 2. Hal Henderson sat on the green paisley couch in his living room, although after all those months it did not feel like his living room anymore. He was this visiting soldier just in from the dust, occupying a civilian dwelling but not really living there. His wife Jan was next to him, and his son Dennis sat in the easy chair across the coffee table, making nice. They were all making nice, though an observer would hardly think them related, the woman and the young man perhaps. The soldier was bivouacked at the perimeter of the encampment, strategizing, projecting his next campaign. Sergeant Major Henderson. "How you doing, boy?" is all I can say to Dennis. "The whole world has changed since I was in Afghanistan, and now it's back to Iraq. How the hell are we going to catch Osama bin Laden in Iraq? Everybody knows he's in Pakistan. Or maybe he's back in Afghanistan by now. Sure, Saddam Hussein's a bastard and somebody should take him down. I thought we should have back in 91. But what fucking excuse do we have now? Well, I'll enjoy spending the time I have with Jan and the boy, faggot that he is. Otto has things under control at the office. What the hell will they need me for? Not much crime going on right now anyway, what with no tourists in town. The kid's getting married in the summer. Don't guess I'll be back for that. What the hell? Last time the whole Iraq war was about 100 days. Maybe it will be over by June. I can't believe it. Dennis is a goddamned local hero. They gave him a parade down the Strand for saving those people in the World Trade Center. Look at him with that leg. He's working it like it's part of him. Never would have thought he had it in him to survive something like that. I'm proud, I guess. I just wish he was straighter, or at least acted straighter. "Merry Christmas, Jan," I tell her. I think she likes the Afghan sweater. Hell, she's just glad to have us all here for the holidays. She's been through a lot, and Galveston can be a lonely town in the winter. It's never really cold, but there's something sad about a vacation spot in the off-season. She'll have Dennis when I leave, at least until he gets a place of his own. I know he's thinking of Broadway again or Hollywood. Lots of luck to him with that missing leg. But then I didn't think he'd make it this far. What the hell do I know about anything anymore? "Merry Christmas!" Dennis toasts, and "Merry Christmas!" Jan and me salute him with our eggnog glasses. Merry goddamn Christmas. Gray Mama. Back in the day, in the ancient Great Rift Valley of Africa, something stuck in Gray Mama's mind as she sat there, held captive by her own leaders in the prisoner camp near the convergence of the two rivers. It was something the former beta male stiff had been trying to show the troop of walking chimps along the riverbank near the now scorched towering baobab trees. Being a detainee now, she had time to mull over things. Stiff had kept pointing to the watermarks left on the walls of the river from each year's flooding. No one understood what he meant. Such was the need for vocal communication, which was still millions of years in the future. However, Gray Mama remembered that the monsoon rains had risen the surface of the river much more in the days of her youth. The rainy season rarely rose to the level of those earlier watermarks these days. Stiff would also point to dead trees and stumps, and Gray Mama almost made the connection that there were now fewer trees than there were in the days when she was tender baby, and even in the times when she was tall one of the common chimps. There was something about these observations that was very disturbing. It was like the whole world was getting warmer. Gray Mama felt Stiff was trying to tell some inconvenient truth, but nobody paid attention to him. If only he had succeeded Randy as alpha male rather than Dull, the duller son of Skinny, the nervous. A great rush of hoots and grunts and other vocalizations caught her attention and woke the others in the camp. It sounded to Gray Mama like the whole twin baobab walking chimp community was approaching her camp. There were few left behind, in fact, only the very old, the very young, and a few guardians like Stiff, and Gray Mama's son Drummer and those friends of his Gray Mama had sent home, held down the fort. The mass of the troop surrounded the prison camp area and overwhelmed the huge guards. In at least one case, a mother scolded her son, the guard, for holding Gray Mama and the others hostage. There were two distinct groups vying for leadership of the rescue operation. Gray Mama was proud to see that one faction was led by Pushy, the former alpha female. The other faction was led by an impressively charismatic young male, who was maybe not seasoned enough for the alpha spot, although he did have potential. Gray Mama thought of him as noble, or the Australopithecine concept closest to what modern humans would call noble. Noble was always striking a noble pose. Mostly he and Pushy shared the same goals for the troop as shown by their generous actions toward others, bringing to Gray Mama's mind the days of Pushy's mate Randy. The problem was that Noble and Pushy seemed to bicker more than work together. Gray Mama had to admit Randy did not make things any easier for Pushy with his overzealous backslapping and preening of every walking chimp he could corner. The important thing to Gray Mama was the party was there to free the hostages and end the stupid conflict. Due to the great attrition of the war, the rescue party was larger than the number of surviving baobab combatants. Both Pushy and Noble knew it was time for an exit strategy. They knew, too, that the foreign chimps now outnumbered their friends and neighbors. Foreign walking chimps from all over the region came into the war just to oust the invading baobabs. But the leadership would not give up, no matter how many were killed and maimed. Many, like Gray Mama, thought Elder, the elderly candidate for alpha male, would end the war, but he just led more youngsters into battle. Noble and Pushy independently realized that they could do nothing on the battlefield, but they could bring the troops home if they rushed them when they returned to camp at night. Gray Mama knew there was one thing they could do before nightfall. She gathered Pushy and Randy and Noble and a few of the others and led them to the undisclosed location where she had seen the evil beta male Creepy torturing and humiliating the foreign prisoners. They secluded themselves in two groups on either side of the torture camp. When Noble and Pushy and the others heard the screams of pain and then spied what Creepy and his henchmen were doing, they knew why Gray Mama had brought them. Group 1, led by Pushy, stepped into the open, hooting and chuffing to get the evil one's attention. Creepy was gleefully watching his underlings applying thorns and burrs to the nipples and groins of two prisoners. When the Creepy guys heard the commotion from Group 1, they turned and attacked them. Group 2, led by Noble, then overtook the creeps from behind and led the prisoners aside. Members of both groups made quick work of Creepy and his goons, restraining them and dragging them back to the rescuers' camp. In camp, rescuers soothed the prisoners' wounds with mud and water to the best of their primitive medical knowledge. As for Creepy, he was set on a boulder while the entire assembly took turns pelting him with birdshot gravel. Even the prisoners were allowed to participate. Creepy and his followers were held under armed guard. Each of their keepers wielded a big rock, just large enough to fill the palm. Whenever a guard tired, he was replaced by another eager volunteer. At one point, a henchman tried to make a run for it and got a limestone missile right between his shoulder blades. There were no escape attempts after that. End of Chapter 9, Homeward. Primitive Life, a novel by Louise Richardson.